Hello, and welcome to another After Party episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I have lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for over 5 years.
Yeah.
I am a Tiny Habits certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach, and an all-around After Party gal. And with me
Oh my God.
I don't know, dude.
No one ever would describe you as an after party gal. No. It certainly would not describe me. I am party guy Donald. I am before party guy.
Yeah.
I party before the party, during the party, and after the party. I'm just the party all along. I am Donald Weigel. I'm actually none of those things. There is no partying whatsoever in my life. But I am one of the hosts of this show. I have lost about 100 pounds. I have kept it off for about 5 years, which really is a party if you think about it.
Yeah.
If your definition of party is a lot of calorie counting and walking a lot. And I am here to talk about it. This is We Only Look Thin.
Yep. And if you are listening to this episode, it means that you have been invited to the after party.
Oh!
You are an elite group. Only the cool kids get invited to the after party.
It's really true.
Anybody can go to the party, but the after party is where the real party happens.
Yeah. There's the party and the after party and the whole during.
That sounds terrible. Someone actually, someone's like, okay, let's go to the after party. We're already here. Why do I have to drive somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly.
We had a friend.
We are such sticks in the mud. I can't even believe we are perfect for each other in that regard.
Yeah, our Donald's the best man from our wedding, and Donald's college grad school chum came to visit last weekend.
We were roommates. Yeah.
And he said about Donald last weekend, what did he say about you?
Oh, he said that I was fun. Which I refuted entirely.
I don't see that.
I don't understand how anyone could think I was fun. Like, that's just not even
maybe
possible.
For Orange County, California, you were fun.
Maybe. Like, for the 90s,
You're so
I was
fun.
Yeah.
Fun guy.
Oh, my God. No one. I can't, that's just unfathomable. I don't even know why people invite me to things. Like, I wouldn't want me wherever things fun were happening.
No, you're not invited to the party, but you definitely are invited.
You invite me to whatever it is, and automatically it's 10% less fun.
Yeah.
Even if I don't show up, it's become 10% less fun just because you've invited me to it.
Yeah, no, we're not party folk.
No.
I'm probably more of a party folk because I'm an obliger, so I feel like I need to bring the party when I go to the party.
You also... You either enjoy small talk or you pretend to enjoy small talk. Where small talk, small talk with strangers drives me absolutely crazy, especially strangers who I'm confident I will never see again.
See, but here's the thing, and I think I told you about this when we recently went to a party.
Yeah.
I am not there to have fun.
Yeah. No, clearly I'm not either.
I am there to make sure that the host feels like they've had fun.
Yeah.
So I am there to be,
true.
As an active service, I will make small talk, not for me, but so that the host who has supplied the snacks feels like they've spent worthwhile money on the snacks by me acting like I've had fun.
Yeah.
And I do have more fun, I think, than you do.
Yeah. I think that I think this is a good lesson from you in me reframing my attitude when it comes to being invited to things.
Well, and this is exactly what this episode is about.
Oh, what a coincidence.
No, but it is.
Yeah, I know.
I accidentally wanted to talk about reframing things and thinking about being an active service. So it's all coming back around. So
yeah. No, I knew what the subject of the episode was, but didn't know we were going to talk about me being so unfun. Unfun? Is that a word? Unfun at parties? Yeah.
Yeah, but we're going to refund you in this episode.
We're going to refund me.
Refund.
Yeah.
You would like a refund
I would like a refund for sure.
So this episode, everyone, after party chums, is about recovering and resetting when the party is over.
Yeah.
And the party generally to us would come in the form of eating lots of food and regretting it is what our party is.
And, the big giant party in my life was just, basically eating what I want and not moving at all. And party. Yeah, that's my idea
Wow.
of a party.
That
really,
seems like...
Yeah. Now that I say it out loud like that.
That sounds like the opening of a really depressing movie, like Leaving Las Vegas starring Nicolas Cage.
My dream is to be Jabba the Hutt, where I'm just sitting on a platform and people bring me food and I don't move. Except to maybe watch my guards get eaten by the Rancor occasionally. But the party came to an end for me when my doctor diagnosed me with type 2 diabetes, and
that's when the after party started.
The after party started, exactly.
And I believe you actually said, like, this is the end of fun.
The end of fun.
Forever.
I thought I was going to have no fun forever because not that this is exactly the topic of the episode, but I equated food with fun. Food is my number one fun. Like, whenever there's any activity, my first thought is always like, how can I make this activity about food and make an excuse to eat indulgent food?
Yep.
And I did that over and over again for most of my life.
Yep. So consider this your Funtervention.
Oh, a Funtervention.
A Funtervention.
I love that.
What is more of a bummer than me Funterveering with your with your fun?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Funterveering?
Funtervention,
yeah.
Anyway, so but we have I'm gonna circle it back around. Speaking of Funterveering, we have we have an accountability group based on Facebook called WOLT Place. We Only Look Thin Place.
Yeah.
And the reason this episode came about was because one of our members, our WOLT chums, asked a question in the group. And so we decided to make it into an episode, and made it an episode because we actually covered this in a recent Zoom meeting. Not only do I give general presentations on topical issues, but also when people ask questions that I think deserve more than a fun GIF or emoji response, I'll do a full Zoom presentation on it.
You would be shocked at how many questions can be answered with a fun GIF.
Oh, yeah. No, GIFs are so, like, they're the cliff notes to all emotions.
Yeah, upwards of 80 to 90% of all health and fitness questions are covered with a GIF response.
100%. Just like our episode titles.
Exactly.
But Sarah asked, and this is Sarah with an H, not to be confused with other Sarahs.
Yeah.
So in case you were wondering. But Sarah commented, so 3 out of the last 4 days, I have been completely out of control with my eating. How do I just restart tomorrow? I hate it when this happens.
Yeah.
And so many of us, no matter how long we have been on this journey venture, have setbacks where we feel like we need to restart. But how do you restart when you feel super defeated and bloated and overwhelmed and disappointed in yourself? Like the fun start of a Donald movie.
Yeah, and a Donald movie
is a fun Donald movie.
It's just me on the couch watching science fiction.
I have made a huge mistake.
TV. Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't that from Arrested Development?
Yeah, I've made a huge mistake. I don't remember what that's from.
I think anyway, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, there is a fun Hulu show called The After Party though.
That is actually fun.
That we enjoyed. It's sort of a murder mystery, but a murder mystery comedy that's enjoyable. I'm taking a moment to recommend it on this health and fitness podcast. But it turns out, as with many, many things, that a large part of the answer is having the right mindset for this. And, we say over and over again that there is no finish line. And so adopting the long view of this, it's not even so much that you are restarting, is that you're always in it.
Yeah.
And you're not restarting. This is the process. You have times where you're going to indulge for 3 or 4 or 10 or 50 days. And part of the process is adjusting and getting back on your plan and realizing that it's all part of the plan and making your lifestyle all part of the plan.
Yeah. And I did some personal research on this very topic on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week, just so that I could remember what it's like to have a setback.
Yeah, that's why.
I had a great great April. I have been following my plan. And then Donald went to Disneyland without me. It was fine. It was fine. He went
I had
with some
an
chums.
opportunity with some work chums to go to Disneyland on a weekday, which was fun.
Yeah, and he did a great job. He went to Disneyland. He moderated his food choices. And I used that as an excuse to party at home without him, have my own special party, including lots of snacks.
Well, you mentioned my college friend coming to visit, and that was completely unexpected. Like, he ended up staying with us for a night. And
yeah, that kind of threw me off.
It really, it resulted in not having an opportunity to get the steps in I had planned for the weekend. And also, we ended up eating out for a couple of meals, which I had not counted on. Try to sort of steer the whole thing towards healthier choices, and like, he just wasn't having it. Like,
yeah, he's like, what's a rebounder? What's a Fitbit? Why do you even have a wrist?
And also, like, the idea of going, eating a home cooked meal was just like, he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm in Los Angeles. To eat.
So anyway, the personal research that I did spanned 3 days.
Yeah.
And so restarting, and the reason I'm not super depressed about it today is because I know that it happens and I have a growth mindset. Whereas maybe 5 years ago, I would have seen it as the end of the world. Now I know that it is just part of the continuum, like Donald was saying.
Yeah, and so there are many things to remember, to keep in mind throughout your health and fitness journey.
So some things that I have learned, and we will impart to you right now, are that setbacks are normal. We say it all the time, but we will say it again. Setbacks are not proof that you are broken. And we can also let go of that notion of the before and after. It's not, well, I thought I've had 4 good weeks. I thought I was fixed. Ha ha ha. And now I had a setback. So this is just proof that I'm broken again. No, there's no before and after. It's just a continuum of choices.
Well, or even, you look at before and after photos on the internet, on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And I used to think that there was life before you hit that weight, and there was life after, and they were 2 totally separate things. And once you figured out how to hit that weight, you knew how to do everything, and it was automatic and easy, and you were just on cruise control. But it turns out that you actually have to like focus and drive. Like, you still have to drive the vehicle that is you, if you like take my extended metaphor, and really pay attention to the road and keep all of those good driving practices, keep on top of them all the time.
Yeah. I know when I used to go to Weight Watcher meetings and people who were at maintenance would come in, I'd be like, run free. What are you doing? Get out of the pen. You're fine.
Yeah. Why are you still at a Weight Watchers meeting? You figured it out. You're done.
Well, it's like the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he breaks the 4th wall and is like, what are you doing here? Go. The movie's over.
Yeah.
Did you actually stay for that?
Oh, yeah. No, I saw that movie a lot of times.
I did too, but I thought that was amazing. And that's when I fell in love with Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're falling in love with this podcast, everyone.
As we break the 4th wall and talk to you, the audience.
We're breaking the 4th wall.
That's right.
So Sarah again asked, how do I restart tomorrow? So the question we will ask Sarah with an H, and all of you after party chums with an H, it's CHUS. S. That didn't work.
CHUS. Yes.
I'm really good at this.
Really
so
good.
how do we restart this episode? But what comes to mind when you think about restarting? Are you seeing some like crazy, montage, clean slate, fresh start? Or do you see it as like, okay, I'm just going to make the next best choice? So as part of the process of weight loss that we have imparted to you, we're going to do that sort of before and after, the fixed mindset version, and then the growth mindset version of potential changes. So which ones resonate with you? Which ones bring you shame? Let us know. So we're going to go between that fixed mindset and that adaptive growth mindset framework. And when we think of fixed mindset, we often say like, oh, I'm not fixed, I'm not whatever. And fixed can be interpreted as I was broken and now I am cured or fixed. But it's also a fixed mindset is unwavering, unadaptable. So in this, we are adapting. And I'm going to play the hero in this next segment of the podcast. and Donald is going to be fixed.
Yeah, you play the hero in my life all the time,
Aw.
so it's only fitting that you're the hero of the podcast.
All right.
You know, a fixed mindset, like a fixed point in time, as Catherine was saying, you might have the sort of the bad idea version of your, party times being over. And you might say to yourself, I thought that behavior was all behind me. Like you thought that you were sort of done doing a specific thing and now you're doing it again. This is the last time I'll ever do that. Well,
and when you make those promises to yourself, that's not a plan. It's just in the moment, like, oh, I'll never, like that.
Or you say, I've learned my lesson, so I'll never do that again. Or even worse, you say things to yourself like, I suck and I'll never get this right. And, we know over and over again, we've learned that telling yourself that you suck, like, there's a part of you that wants to be right.
Yeah.
And there's also a part of you that wants to, give up your responsibility to try to get this done. So if you tell yourself, I'll never get this right, I just can't do it.
Yeah, guess what?
That gives you sort of a freedom to, well, if I'm never going to get it right and I can never do it, then I guess I should never try to do it.
Start now not getting it right.
Exactly. And then you never, and then you really do never actually try to even adjust or change anything.
Okay, so we are going to break from that fixed mindset and go into the mindset growth reframe. So fun. So many fun words at this after party.
Yes.
So the healthy practice would be to say things to yourself like, this is a blip. You know what? I can learn from this. Reducing the frequency, intensity, and duration of setbacks. I know it's a lot of words. That's progress.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen as often as it used to. It wasn't as much as it used to be. It used to be a whole, month, and now it's a weekend, and that is better. And then I can be, and this is maybe the most important thing we're going to say on this entire podcast, and I get to say it.
Oh.
And here it is. I can be disappointed at my behavior, but I don't need to be dramatic about it and be like, this is the end of all joy. I can't believe. You don't have to use big, elaborative adjectives to say what a trash person you are. You can just be like, yep, okay, it's a blip. Let's move on. That is what a grown-up does.
Yeah, and I think just to add one thing, I think that reducing the frequency, intensity, and duration, I think for me, that really goes back to the first part of this, having that fixed mindset of I'll never get this right. I used to constantly do this thing where I would wake up and be like, okay, I am going to be good today. I'm going to I'm going to stick to it. And then I would white knuckle my way through a day and I would get to the evening time and I would tell myself, well, I'll just have this one treat before I go to bed. And then I would taste it and I would have it and it would become 2 and 3 and 4 and it would become this sort of binge eating episode. And I used to do that, maybe like 6 days a week. And I still once in a while do that, but I have dialed it way, way, way back to where it is very infrequent. And so saying to myself that I'll never do that again is not realistic, but realizing that I have had a lot of success in making it just a very infrequent episode, is really, realizing that if I do it one time now, it's all over. I don't have to give up all of the progress that I've made up to that point.
Well, and what you do a majority of the time matters more than an occasional setback or slip up. So that is what we're saying. So we're going to break it down. So now we've got the big mindset, your brain part of this, but now we're going to break it down into things you might say regarding your activity or inactivity.
Yeah, and so the bad idea, the bad mindset, the fixed mindset about activity is fitness is my punishment for bad behavior. You might say to yourself, well, I've really indulged this food, so now I'm going to go to the gym and work out extra hard or extra often to punish myself for what I've done. Or you might say to yourself, I can just exercise away the calories,
Ooh.
which it is really, really virtually impossible to do. And I will focus on high calorie burn activities instead of activities that I actually enjoy.
Right. So you see it as, paying off a debt instead of that, I move because it is enjoyable, which comes into the healthy practice part of this. So movement makes my body feel good. Movement helps me feel centered. It helps with my emotional regulation. And then I can also ask myself, what would feel good right now? I feel super bloated. I feel tired. You know what? Maybe today just some simple stretching would make sense. You know what? It's a beautiful morning. I'll take a little walk over to the coffee shop and get a coffee. Something small is empowering instead of feeling like, well, if I don't, throw up from overexerting myself, then it's not really counting toward fixing me.
Yeah, and look at what that does. Look at the difference between those two things. If you're thinking about exercise and activity as punishment all the time, you're not going to keep wanting to do it. But if you're looking at doing things that actually feel like self-care, that make you feel better, that make you feel more empowered about yourself, guess what? You're going to keep wanting to do those because you're going to keep wanting to feel good about doing those things.
Exactly.
So moving on to food.
Have you heard of it?
Have you heard of food? It's basically the thing I only think about. I think about Funko Pops and food. Those are the only two things. And loving you. That's the third thing. Also,
friendship.
Friendship. So food, the fixed mindset, the bad idea part of this is you decide to go into a major deficit immediately. So you've had this like 3-4 day party in Sarah's case, and so you decide to make up for it by going from, you've eaten 4,000 calories a day, so you're going to go down to 1,000 calories a day or 1,200 calories a day. Or you decide to do a radical new plan for quick results, whatever the new latest, you can lose 50 pounds in a week, like fad situation.
Oh my gosh.
is.
I totally saw something like that the other day. It was like 20 pounds in a month, like with no changes to diet and exercise.
Yeah. I look at a lot of Reddit and Facebook groups about health and fitness or, weight loss. And there's so many people that post questions like, how can I lose 40 pounds the fastest?
Oh my gosh.
Like, what is the way to lose the fastest? Luckily, there are many level-headed people in these groups who give them good advice, but it's such a frequent question. And then the last sort of bad idea is decide that you'll keep eating poorly until next month, and then you'll restart.
I have done that so many times.
Oh my goodness, me too. It's just like, well, it's already the 17th of the month. You can't like start on the 17th. Like, why don't I just wait until the 1st of next month?
Right. And if you're listening to this, it's like early May. You know what? Maybe June is but then like 4th of July is coming. And how about after Labor Day? I used to wait months to get back on track.
Yeah.
And it just was not. It wasn't helpful. There, I'll say it.
Yeah.
It's the hard news.
And it turns out that adapting a healthy lifestyle that you so that you adjust for these parties that happen in your life parties in your mouth, that is really the key to doing this long term.
Right. So my reframe on this is when that food hangover type feling that you have all I literally couldn't work out I couldn't rebound because my stomach was all like off the other morning. Wasn't a good look for me.
Yeah.
But the different sort of healthy practice might be, you know what? I feel like crud, but this is going to pass. That's right. I said crud.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. This is a family podcast.
It is. C-R-U-D.
C-R-U-D.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And the big reframe is, instead of feeling like I need to go to a giant deficit to make up for it, today would be a great day to shoot for maintenance calories. So if yesterday I ate 4,000 calories, you know what? Instead of 1,000, maybe I'll go with 2,000 calories today, 2,500 calories today, whatever that maintenance range is for you, going back to those normal habits, whether you track calories or points. A normal amount of food makes sense over an extreme deficit. It's also a really good time to
pump up the volume.
Pump up the volume with extra veggies and fruit to help you feel satisfied. Fill up that stomach of yours that never. I was going to say like rum tum tummy, but I decided it's horrible. It's horrible, and I really hope you cut that out because
no, I got a recording of you saying that. It's going out into the world.
Okay, and then this is a good time to distance myself, like I am going to say from the last thing that I said. Distance yourself from those unhelpful foods. Do you have leftovers in the house? Did you actually have a party? Did someone, make you take leftovers home with you? Get them out of the house. You don't need to burn the calories. They can go and return to the soil.
Absolutely. And then the next part of your reset might involve the scale. And you might think to yourself, well, I need to get on the scale immediately to punish myself and remind myself that I am a garbage person.
Yeah.
Or you might instead weigh yourself obsessively multi-times a day to continue to torture yourself, just using that as evidence that you're broken and that you're a bad person and that you're never going to get it.
Well, and I think part of that, too, is knowing what your current relationship is with the scale. Because if you see it as punishment or this will, and you even said, like, if you get on the scale and can deal with the number and be like, okay, this is where I am. It's data. It's fine. That's one thing. But if you find yourself using it as punishment, then it's not a great time to get on the scale.
And we've done an episode or two about having a healthy relationship with the scale. And, for me, Catherine was alluding to it. I have to watch myself between getting on the scale to punish myself, but then also that I don't avoid the scale because I have a habit of, if I don't get on the scale, then I can still hope that what I've done hasn't actually caused very much damage and that I haven't actually gained much. And so I have to sometimes, make myself get on the scale to face the music. And once I actually see the number and see what the results of my actions are, that sometimes will sober me up and let me to really face the reality that, okay, all right, I've gone too far and I need to pull things back again.
Well, and we've also done, we've talked about sort of seeing our weight loss journeys as driver's education, because there are a few times, there have been a few times where I've overeaten and the scale didn't move. I didn't gain any weight.
Yeah.
And I had a magical thought that, like, I guess I can just eat whatever I want.
Do whatever you want now.
I finally got there.
Exactly.
So watch out with the scale and the words that you say to yourself. A growth mindset might be, this is additional data that I'm collecting. I will weigh myself. I always weigh in on Fridays. I will continue that practice. Or if you need to take a small break because okay, the day after I watch the Super Bowl and eat all the food, the day after the birthday party, maybe this isn't the time. But you know what? I'll go back to it the very next week. I have a policy. There's someone in WOLT who said, I weigh myself on Fridays no matter what. And having that, nope, I collect the data on Friday, continue with that. And that is just part of that maintaining those healthy habits.
Yeah. And I have a very different policy for myself, which is that I weigh myself on Saturday.
Whoa.
No matter what.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's radically different.
Yeah. It's not.
Oh, it's not?
Oh, it's not. Okay. I'll delete that part if you delete the part where I talked about the rum tum.
No, the rum tum tummy is going in there.
Ew. I've never even seen Cats, so have you seen Cats?
No.
Okay, good.
No. I've seen a music video from Cats that they aired on MTV years ago.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Tell us more.
It's probably on YouTube somewhere. And so when you have negative results,
we're bringing it home, everybody.
We're bringing it home. There is the fixed mindset, bad idea way to deal with it, and then the growth mindset, helpful way to deal with it. And the bad idea is you perpetuate your punishment cycle. You continue to, you indulge and then you punish yourself and then you indulge again and punish. And it basically turns into a never ending cycle that I was caught in for many, many years.
Right. You like hate yourself back to fitness. Like you hate yourself into working out. Not a good look for my guy.
Yeah. Or you get angry when things don't go back to normal immediately. Like you really have to give yourself space and you have to, give yourself time to adjust. And it's okay if you can't immediately bounce back.
Well, and two, you imagine that you're going to bounce back immediately to your best version of yourself instead of being able to look at it as a gradual, like, I'll get back there. This is the first step.
And then you panic and you think you need to do something drastic.
This is a big one.
And that is that, like, oh my goodness, like I need to dive into the, only drink kale smoothie diet like over and over again, or I'm going to go down to 800 calories a day or something like that. Like that is definitely not healthy. I did this months before
20 years, I probably did it.
Yeah, I gave up entirely because I'm a trash panda and I'm never going to get this right. Or that's what I told myself, which turned out not to be the truth.
Not to be the truth. You're a nice panda. So again, finishing off this episode with that healthy, adaptive mindset. I see this as a setback, not as a failure. It is something that just happens in the process. And remember, we also did an episode called Failure is Feedback. I look at the habits and behaviors I decided to take on in the last 3 days, and I see the points that are like, yeah, that wasn't my best choice. I can change and learn and adapt for next time. I really do consider, how can I approach this next time? When Donald goes to have a super fun time day at Disneyland, what could I do differently that doesn't lead to my self-sabotage? And then again, and this is kind of the biggest thing, I can eat at maintenance until I'm ready to go back to a deficit. I can pump up the volume. I can do things that get me back to a place of feeling centered and then go to a deficit. I don't have to go to extremes because we all know what happens when we go to extremes. We just set ourselves up, like Donald said, into those cycles of punishment and feeling like we don't deserve food, until we're good again. This whole journey comes with setbacks. It comes with new seasons of our lives, new temptations, and randos from college. No, not randos from college. No, he was our best man at our wedding. He wasn't a rando.
Good friends from college.
I just wanted to say rando because it's fun.
And can I just add one thing that was not in our notes? I think that you said this on a recent episode, but I think it really applies here. Work on actively thinking of these times as pauses in your plan instead of thinking about them as, well, okay, it's over and I'm restarting. Think about you are pausing your plan because your college friend came or because you just, were having your 3 or 4 day party and, couldn't keep your mindset on track. Whatever it is a pause in the longer journey and it is not a before and after situation.
Exactly. So think about your mindset, your food choices, the way you get in movement, your relationship with the scale, and the overall journey that you're on. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. And what you do most of the time matters much more than a weekend away, a vacation, or just a random, like, food tastes really good blip that you experience.
Yeah.
So we believe in you. If we can make progress on this, we are confident that you can too.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of the show. All of our episodes, every single one of them, all nearly 280 of them are available.
How is that even possible?
I know.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. They're available on all of the major podcast platforms. How many is 280? How do you quantify that? It's a lot.
It's a lot of numbers.
We are really, really good at quantifying things. But you can find them all on all the major podcast platforms, wherever you found this episode. And also, all the time, 24 hours a day on our website at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep, and if you are at weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for Join Our Support Group and find out more about WOLT Place. We Only Look Thin Place is a Facebook-based accountability group for women. We are not a weight loss plan, but we are a place for support, accountability, and for in-depth conversations about topics just like this. Again, this episode was brought up because a member of the group shared openly about the setbacks that she was having. So we have 2 subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if WOLT Place is right for you.
And I think Catherine is maybe being somewhat modest, but the person just asked that 1-sentence paragraph. Sarah asked that 1-sentence question, and Catherine created a multi-page, PowerPoint presentation with slides and graphics and, went through the whole thing and made herself available directly face-to-face with many members of WOLT Place to answer questions directly and go through all of this. And, if that is the kind of thing that you think you would benefit from, then please check out WOLT Place. You can try one of our memberships and do it for a few days and see if it's right for you. And I really think that the chances are that it will be. So please check it out.
Yep. And I cannot guarantee dramatic weight loss, but I can guarantee that none of my presentations are in Comic Sans. There, I said it. I can guarantee that to you, dear listener.
Is important. That is important.
I'm sorry. I've always got to you say something sincere and I've got to back it up with Comic Sans.
If you're a font fan, you want to stay away from Comic Sans. Comic Sans. If you're a fans of the Sans, the Sans fans, I'm going to start a Reddit group called the Sans fans. Or you can interact with us on social media. There, I finally got there. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at We Only Look Thin. Or you can send us an email. You could send it in Comic Sans if you want. We'll still read it.
Donald will still read it.
It might make it harder for us to reply, but we enjoy getting emails from listeners. If you have a question, if you have an episode idea, something we haven't covered or something we haven't covered in a while that you want us to do another topic on, we would appreciate it. We also like hearing compliments. So that is weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have a couple of extra minutes and can head over to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review.
Yeah.
Not only does it let us know that what we're doing matters in your journey venture, but it also helps with the space-aged algorithms to help other people find our podcast when they're looking for inspirational podcasts like ours.
Yes, the robots like your Apple ratings and reviews. They approve. So please do that. And another way you can really help us out is just to tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth really is an invaluable way in which the show grows. If you could tell someone, if you think you know somebody that might get something out of it, or if you're in one of those Reddit groups, Facebook groups, a Discord server, something like that, give us a shout out. We would really appreciate it.
Yep.
So if you are looking for somebody to perform a Funtervention for you, just remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration.
Funtervention.
Or funterfering.
Funterfering.
In your life.
Oh, man, we are good at parties.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.